Hello! Welcome back. Welcome back for me, myself. It's been like over 2 years since I've made a video. And it's been over 1 year since I've decided to get into drag last. So here we are. I made it my plan this weekend to attempt to do a face look at least. Maybe we'll get into clothes or something afterwards if I'm feeling like it for a full like photo shoot moment, have that full fantasy. But as far as right now, the goal is just to do a full face of drag makeup for the first time in over a year, record it for the first time in forever, and to just see where it goes, see how I feel about it all again. I am currently in a phase of my life right now where I am looking to um, bring back activities, things that bring a inner joy into my being, and to see where that all takes me, what I want to bring back in, what maybe I can leave back into the past and not touch in again, and kind of go from there. And makeup and drag in general are two of those things that I let slip over the last 2 years. I would say making videos as well. I let slip over the last 2 years because I just didn't have the capacity to kind of deal with the time span that it takes to get ready, the time span that it takes to edit these videos. And honestly, it was a way for me not to confront how I was feeling about myself mentally, how I was feeling about myself physically, because the last 2 years were focused in on spending as much time with my grandma as much as possible. And there was a lot of distracting that was going on, of trying to just have fun instead of like really focusing in on myself, and just being a part of other people's lives for a bit there. I feel like, I mean, I was obviously partaking in my own life through them, I would say, like still having fun, still connecting, still being out and about, but I feel like now I'm just at a mental point of a mental clarity of getting back to me, getting back to myself, taking care of my being, my soul, and the things that I know are hopefully going to bring back me a little bit. I wouldn't say that I've necessarily, like, I mean, okay, I was gonna say necessarily changed, and that's a lie because I have changed, which we'll discuss and everything entail throughout the whole video. Not trying to make this super long, since this is still just the intro, but yeah, that's the gist, I think, basically. I'm just ready to have fun for myself again, not having fun through people, if that makes sense to you guys. And the reason for recording, because obviously I could have done this with not recording at all and just having this own self-satisfaction go on, is the fact that I feel like when I was recording and doing all these videos constantly and like progressing in this world of drag and gay culture, it held me accountable. It kind of kept me going. It was a constant check-in, even though that I was in therapy at the time. Currently, I'm not in therapy. That's a mission that I'm on right now, too. But so we're just so much that I could honestly cover in this video, and it could probably be as long as it's going to take me to get into drag, which I'm hoping is not as long as before, which is like 3 hours. I mean, right now we're starting at 9:53 after doing multiple retakes of this intro already. So we're going to get started. The idea is to do a full face of makeup. I don't necessarily have an idea for like the look that I'm going to do, but we're just gonna play around, see what comes up. I'm gonna put on the base layer of everything here, put my hair up, get it out of the way, and we're going to get to it. We'll come back when I'm going to get into the eyeshadow part. I think that's what happened in the past, and I think that worked before, because that ideally is like the final piece. Not like the final piece, there's the final touches, but like that's the main thing where you get the most creativity, I feel like, out of this whole process. So I will be back in a little bit with some more zhuzh on my face. So I'll see you in a second. Hey, okay, we're back. This is where we're at. There are things that I'm loving, things that I'm like, oh, worried about. I mean, with my face being different, there's definitely things now that like I have to readjust to, and figure out like the placement of things and where it all works. Plus, not doing this in over a year, forgetting where I have placed stuff and what steps to do what is it's been a moment, but I've been slowly making my way through this process. I think I said I started around, I don't know if I said when I started around. I think I started around close to 10 technically by the time that I finished the intro and everything, and now it's almost 12. So it's gonna be a longer night, and I have been going to sleep early, like at least by midnight. So this will be a fun time. But this is where we're at right now. We are going to do one eye at least on camera. And then the other one I'll do off camera, come back for the final look and everything. But this is where we're at. This is everything. I have not thought about what I want to do. Sorry for my sniffles, allergies, or I'm getting over a slight cold and everything. So I really think eyeshadow wise, that one's the same. I'm just really tempted to do like blue, because I've just always loved blues. And I feel like that's kind of like a staple that I'm used to, you know? So let's not like do anything crazy, you know? This is all just to get into drag and do the process. So I think we're gonna do blue. Um, maybe like a purple into a blue, you know? Um, with the way that this is set up, I feel like usually I think I start with my right eye, but I feel like I'm gonna start with my left eye because my mirror's here, so then I can do this. Side profile looks pretty good, actually. Okay, so let's get into this. And actually, this whole process is the first time that I'm able to use my new makeup area setup that I have in place. Love it because I have my little drawer here with all my brushes that I can just pull out. Some of them need to be cleaned. I probably need new brushes as well too. So I think the first thing that I want to mention is that about 2 years ago, I did perform live in front of a group of people at a bar. My friend from high school invited me to perform at their charity event in Ypsilanti, and I did my first drag performance, which I think about and I look back upon and like it makes me so cringed. Because I mean, I'm not like a performer. I'm not a dancer. It was my first time. I didn't necessarily like plan for it. I performed to Cosmic Love by Florence and the Machine, one of my favorite artists and bands. And I have videos for it, which I will post eventually at some point. But we're not there yet. I've only started to slightly rewatch it a little bit. When I did do it, I did show my grandmother, and she was very supportive. I mean, I had a great support system. All of my friends showed up, had a big group, got a picture of that too. So it's like a really defining moment, but also it is like a moment where I'm it's so the idea behind getting into drag and doing this whole process again isn't probably necessarily about performing. At least that's another thing way down the line. But I am overall happy that I did it. I can at least say that I did it and gave it a try. So another big change is that for the last little bit, I did have a roommate, and now I'm living all by myself again, which has been really nice. For like just being in my own space, and not having to like address another person living with me, although like I am very thankful for the time that we did live together. But now with them not living here, I am a lot more like worried and paranoid about the really off chance that someone's gonna like break into my house, and like that's not necessarily the PTSD that the trauma specific that I have. I was robbed at Subway when I worked at Subway. We were robbed late at night, and so that just triggers anxiety within me being at home alone, hearing all these little sounds and everything. So I'm always like looking. And then it also doesn't help that like I'm a person who believes in like the paranormal. I believe in uh energies, and I believe that there are energies around me that are here to help and guide me. And then I'm also aware of like the roaming energies that can kind of like come through from people who have like passed on, who are still around, which that's a new development that I'm like working my way into, of like discovering and figuring out if I have like these medium psychic abilities to be able to address these things a little bit better, instead of like being in this area of like fear and anxiety, you know? So we're figuring that out, which obviously then adds into like this whole feeling that I get. But we're working with it, we're working through it. I just always have to remind myself that like I'm in a safe space. I attract good energy towards me. I'm not trying to be around negativity or anything that is of low frequency, and that I am protected by white light, and my spirit guides are there to keep me safe and calm. And it is like the little mantra that I have that I just kind of have to remind myself of from time to time. That the last time I was in drag was for Kimchi coming to Ann Arbor in Necto. Coming to Necto in Ann Arbor, and that is where I did like my cute anime purple hair maid situation. Loved that. It was a great little moment. She complimented the look and the outfit, which I loved. Definitely like a nice little moment and situation to have. And that was about a year ago, which was probably about right before like everything with my grandma really started to take a toll, like on me mentally. And so with that whole situation with my grandmother, you know, she was 97 years old when she passed. She didn't, it was a slow decline. Her memory kind of started to go there for a little bit, towards the end. And so it was just always like her her just calling to like check in, see if I was coming to visit her and everything. And I told her that that's what I would want her to do, was to reach out. And so it just really got to the point of like, I I know I wasn't the only one going, but I know that I was the closest one to her that was constantly going to see her. So so that just took a lot of my energy to do that. So then like throughout that whole process, I've qualified the weight that I've gained as my grieving weight, which has been a slow burn of like gaining the weight over time, but then like my gym routine completely plummeted and fell off of existence there. So so that was another reason as to why I didn't want to do like these videos or anything, because I didn't want to have to see my body changing. And then also to do this process with my body changing and gaining some weight, it was like, I don't know necessarily like, excuse me, how to switch up the makeup that I'm doing, nor did I really want to try to. Also, again, that mental capacity was just not there whatsoever, to have extra things added in or to try to strive to achieve certain things in my life. So it was really just falling back into basics of like distraction and things that were giving me some external sources of like happiness. So like going out with my friends, going to like shows that they wanted to go to, and really just like participating in that. Smoking marijuana more frequently was something. I felt like a few years ago there was a tick in the direction of not partaking with marijuana as much, especially like not throughout my day-to-day life. And there were just moments of partaking too much, and that being like the thing that like would help like soothe me almost, but then also it was my own worst enemy too, because like it would add into like the anxiety that I'm feeling. It would add into the depression that I was having and everything. So it was really like a catch-22 situation, which I'm realizing, and smoking less, but haven't completely like given up smoking as of yet. It is something to work towards for sure. So then also within this time of not doing drag and not putting on makeup, and like gaining this weight and everything, falling into like this depression of everything, there was a moment of like questioning my body image and how I was looking, how I was feeling. And during that time span, this time span, I took one step in a direction of my professional career of going to one of my craniosacral therapy seminars. And in that, we addressed our avenue of expression, opening up the fascia, our connective tissue in our body around your neck, within your throat and your mouth, addressing your teeth and allowing for those to all unravel, because as we let trauma settle into our body, this area constricts ourselves. So if this isn't open, then if chakra wise, if this isn't open, physically wise, if this space is not open, then we aren't necessarily able to express ourselves truthfully and be able to relay how we are feeling, or what is truly going on. And in that class, we also learned how to dialogue with our inner physician, and that is the inner knowing in your body of, you know what you need. And so we created a dialogue with that so that we were able to work at opening up and removing these past traumas and energy cysts that we hold within ourselves. And that class was really insightful. I learned a lot from it, and that class was where I decided and made the decision that I wanted to start and give hormone replacement therapy a try. So for the last year and a half, basically, I have been taking estrogen. Um, Not necessarily to transition into becoming a woman, but being able to blur the lines between um, male and female a little bit more. I wanted to be able to experience life not affected by testosterone mainly, and there was also this thought of um, not wanting to continue in life completely influenced by testosterone, or I didn't necessarily see my life moving forward into the future wanting to still be within my manly physique, if you will. So I started hormone replacement therapy. We started slow at first. I decided to do intermuscular injections once a week. And through the time period, we have like slightly increased from when I started, which I think I started with 1.2 milliliters within my shots. And then throughout the time, we've slowly inched up to where I have been doing 1.8 milliliters for the last almost a year, I would say, or 9 months or so. And which lately I have dialed down to 1.5, 1.6 right now, which we'll discuss here. So what have I gained from doing hormone replacement therapy is during a time of lot of upheaval and stress, which looking back now, maybe not the best time period to start this process, but it felt like the right decision in the time. And it still does. But there is now currently just some inner turmoil of continuing with this process. So mentally amazing. I think it really shifted my mindset. I think it has allowed me to be slightly more calmer within my interactions with people. I have, we're gonna get it, not super TMI, but just I want to express so much about this whole scenario and what I've gained from it. It gave me a super low sex drive. And for the last 6 months, I have been completely celibate. Not necessarily by choice, but it's just how everything has. And I mean, even before that, the only person that I was seeing on a regular basis was my friends with benefits that we've known each other for a while. I'll say I don't want to give out too much information, I guess, about them. But they have departed, not like departed, died, but they just have left the state and they haven't been around. And I haven't been searching for it necessarily. I haven't been searching for it necessarily. So it's just been the last thing kind of on my mind, except for like the last couple, like the last week or so. I feel like there's like this, not urge, but like I'm more open to the idea than I have been for a while. But I really have appreciated that change, because I feel like if I were to have not done this during this whole time with my grandmother, I would have like fallen into poor decision making, being too presumptuous, yeah, like too presumptuous with it. I feel like that would have been like a negative reaction of over um ooh, I'm losing like the words for it, but like I'm just grateful that that wasn't something that was on my mind, and I wasn't trying to use sex as an escape from how I was feeling already. And I think it just really allowed me to pour energy, more energy that would have been wasted in all of these potential flings and hookups, which I'm making myself sound like some slut, but like I really don't get around that much, nor have I necessarily in the past, maybe when I was younger a decade ago, but like, okay, we're just diving in. Um, so, so that was a really like, it's been a really nice change. And it now has made for my interactions with people moving forward to be more of substance, I guess. Like, I have still like swiped on Bumble and Tinder throughout this whole process. More of just finding people to talk to and connections to have. And it is so crazy prevalent how the gay community is so sex crazed, and that the idea of a connection with someone either a starts with sex or it leads to sex at some point, to where I just want friends, and I just want my friends to be friends. I don't need to know what you're like in the bedroom. I mean, we can discuss it and we can talk about it and we can gab about like the people that you have seen and slept with and this whole moment that you've had with someone, like perfectly fine. But like, I personally just don't subscribe to, I want to say, in my perception of like mainstream gay culture. You know, like I think it is just a little too like sex crazed. Um, and that's something that I'm realizing. Um, I mean, before starting this, I already kind of felt like I was a demisexual person. Um, but definitely now I realize that I am a demisexual being, and I do really like strive off building a connection with someone first, and then having that like lead up to any other further interactions that we have, you know. But to just like jump off right the bat of like, oh, I want to get in your pants is like completely crazy to me now. And I mean, if it works for you, it works for you. Not trying to like diss anyone, but I do see it as like the downfall of the gay community, kind of just like I just don't think everything needs to be so sexual when it is so sexual, you know? Um, so that's one piece of it. Another piece of it is that it really like, it just feels correct, or at least it did feel correct in the time of like going through this process and having estrogen in my body. Um, and to be able to like just focus in on like these changes going in within myself, um, mentally, you know, like mentally, clarity, it works, you know. The downside for me, I guess, is that, and the issue that I'm having as of lately, is the physical changes. Mostly the chest physical changes, which I'm not trying to be like too revealing, but like there's definitely breasts here, you know, which wasn't what I wanted when I started this whole process. I knew that it might happen, and that was a possibility, but I also was hoping that like I would be one of the people that like it didn't develop, it didn't happen to, you know? So like, um, I know they add to my womanly figure, which at the beginning was loving. Now I'm kind of in this process of deciphering, have I tipped my scale now too far into the feminine side? And am I comfortable with that? I think when I go out now, even just into my regular day outfits, I get recognized as a woman more frequently, which at the beginning, love, like, thank you, support, appreciate it, like, love that. And I didn't have an issue going into, like, I still felt I was very male presenting at that time. Not like very male presenting, but like, you could still at least know that I was born a man. Um, and then lately, it's been to the point to where like I feel like, so going to the gym, being out in public, in places that aren't like LGBT like friendly, or that like I know that that's my safe space. Um, it has been a struggle to like go into the bathroom, into the men's bathroom, which beforehand didn't give me an issue necessarily, even if people would like do a double take or like stare a little bit longer. Now it's to the point where I feel like people are actually like voicing the fact of like, oh, you're in the wrong bathroom. And I'm like, wait, but I'm not in the wrong bathroom. I am in the bathroom that I have always used and been comfortable with. And there's never been this point in my life to where I'm like, oh, I'm going to use the women's bathroom unless it is um, like at a gay club or a gay bar, to where it's like unisex bathrooms all around, you know? It doesn't really matter which ones that you like use. So that is currently like where I am at with this whole process, and deciphering if this is like the route that I'm going to like continue down, and if this is something that like I can get over, hurdle wise. I am working towards finding a mental health therapist again, which I feel like I probably should have had during this whole time, but health insurance hasn't been like the best thing, you know? And just feeling comfortable enough to use it also. has been like the main concern there, you know. So I'm hoping by June that sorry, that there is this potential for there to be some psychotherapy to happen in my life again, for this specific reason, but then also just because I think that that was super beneficial to me in the past. And I think that that allowed for me to really make good strides in my life, and keep me a little more focused than I have been, you know? So, nope. Nope. And nope. And so that is where I'm kind of at within myself right now, within this hormone replacement therapy. For a second there, I was really like working myself up, to like figure this whole thing out immediately, which I do. I'm not really like a patient person with myself. So it's a process. We're getting there. This last month, so we're in May right now. For the month of April, I did a month of isolation, where I just took a step back from going out and like seeing my friends. Switched my like whole like routine that I had going of like the best friends that I would see on a weekly basis, and then like my gay friends of like when I would see them going out and about to like shows and stuff. And that was really beneficial. And that's the time period that I was talking about of like getting really worked up within like this thought process with the hormone replacement therapy. So that whole month though was super beneficial. I'm back to like a regular workout routine, into my new work schedule that I started about 6 months ago, when I got my new job, working at a chiropractic office again. A different one than the one I was working at a few years ago, which I don't think we covered. Isn't necessary. So it was great for that reset, and then in this month, realizing, oh, I'm missing things in my life that are bringing me inner joy and happiness, and what are these things that I can do to bring back like this feeling of like peace, not like living through other people's lives and focusing in on like them. And I know that I feel good when I can help someone, since i.e. the job that I have. Like I know that I'm a healer. I know that I am an empath, and I can listen to people well, and if they want, I can give them suggestions of like how to potentially better their situation and what I think would work for them if they want it. But like also in that time period, I stopped again like caring for myself and what I was doing, and like just letting a lot of things like go and slide. So that was also part of like my month away, was to really only be able to focus in on me and myself and not what other people are doing, not the other issues that people have going on. What's going on with me, so it was very beneficial. Again, having a new workout schedule in, I have lost a few pounds from when I started this whole journey, and I'm on this month of May to really like continue that weight loss journey and like eating healthier. I make sure to plan my meals throughout the week, and everything, and to have snacks all the time. Oh, to have snacks throughout my day so that I'm not like eating bad, eating fast food, eating out, and spending money that I shouldn't be spending on expensive meals that are out there, And then also within this month, I was really able to like get my house more in order that I'm staying in, get my new like yard work schedule set in place for this year so that things don't get out of control like they did last year, because oh my goodness, my backyard was a mess. And so that's where I'm at with that. We're finding how and when I want to bring people into the fold of like what's going on in my life, when I want to see people, who I want to see and when. And it's been a process. I really enjoyed. I didn't like really enjoy it because there were like these moments of anxiety and depression that kind of like came in and followed suit, which I thought I would be more equipped to handle a little bit better, but it still kind of like sent me for a ringer. But overall, I really did enjoy like being by myself, not having to deal with other people's problems, because although I didn't have to deal with them, it was still just something, it's just my being kind of making that extra attempt to help the people around me. I just, yeah, that's it. That's really it. Also during this month, I took a break from social media because social media is an anxiety trip, as we all know. But I just felt like it was causing more of a mental strain than I wanted it to. And kind of to like reset my intention and the way that I use social media, which I'm realizing I don't like having the social media apps like on my phone, because then I'll just spend time that I could be doing tasks, scrolling and getting sucked down rabbit holes of news information of things that are happening in the world. And yeah, it's not, I don't think it's beneficial to me. So I do have to find a way to be able to like just use social media, like on my laptop, and only checking it either like once a day or like once a week sounds really nice also, but I don't know if that's good to do, like, is that even worth it type of deal, because I want to post more, do all this stuff, but then also use it to potentially like start like like getting business out of my house and like doing Reiki cranial sacral sessions out of my house. So like I need to let people know somehow, you know? So it's a work in progress in that area, but I am very thankful for this month of isolation that I did, and I probably will do it again in the future if I'm being honest. So what else is new? I currently am fostering a cat for my friend, which it seems like it's turning into this cat becoming my cat. But her name is Mama. She's a torticollis, which you potentially heard her in this video and everything as I've been doing it. She is a little cutie pie. She is super attention-y, which I had to like learn. She's very vocal, which is lovely. I do love it. So that's been different. I guess another change since my last video too was that my previous cat, Bella, I had to put her down 2 Novembers ago now. She just randomly, I don't know if it was random, it felt like it was random, but she just like took a turn one week and it just seemed like she was starting to lose weight and she dropped weight really fast, and then like one week, so I feel like it was a 2 week span, and then this was a period of time low income of like not being able to like potentially take her to the vet soon enough, but also not necessarily thinking that like I had to take her to the vet because like it didn't seem like the weight loss was, I just thought she was getting into her senior age. She was 15 years old, you know? And then it was literally just like on a turn, she like was having trouble eating and wasn't like eating her dry food, so I was giving her wet food, and here I am just like, oh, this is a change of like her being in her older age now, because she never liked wet food before. And then yeah, so not to get too far into that, I had to put her down. When I took her into the vet officially, they declared that she was blind, and that she just, she just wasn't her. And so I didn't want to selfishly keep her around for my own comfortability and benefit. So that was another hard challenge that I had, so turn of events for everything. Taking the cranial sacral class, doing HRT, Bella passing, then 7 months later, my grandmother passing, which just wasn't ideal. I was hoping that I would have Bella around to be able to support me in this time of like losing my grandmother. And so that span of time was literally like, it felt like I lost two of the most influential grounding pieces in my life, so it has been a big challenge slightly to readjust, of going through these emotions and these processes, which I'm happy with the hormone replacement therapy for, because I felt like that really allowed me to be able to express my feelings and what was happening during that whole time, instead of just like bottling these things up and like holding them in and not like addressing these things as they were coming. So this is already a little bit long. So I'm going to finish everything up, refocus in a little bit. And, but for what this has come to so far, I'm like pretty happy with it, actually. I'm not too upset with how this is. I'm going to like fill this in a little bit more. And then I'm going to do the eyeliner and everything, and we'll come back for the final look all together. So, crazy kind of way to just like cut it off there. But thanks for listening so far. I'll see you in a second. Ooh. Well, here we are. About 5 hours later, because I took my time. This was a whole process. But I mean, for this being my first time in over a year getting back in drag, I am very happy with this outcome. I wish that it was like earlier in the day and that I could like go out and about and like show off this look, but like I'm happy with how it is, and I'm happy that I got to share it with you guys. So I mean, thank you for watching and for listening to me vent for this whole little session here. Hopefully it wasn't too long, and I don't know, like, oh, this honestly feels so good to have done this. Obviously my self-criticism comes in, and I know there's things that like could potentially be better. But I don't know, like, I still think I kind of slayed it, like, I'm not too upset with this. I think it was overall a success, and I'm happy with this outcome. I didn't cry as much as I thought I would. This moment just really fills me with like inner joy and happiness right now. This is just definitely something I'm going to continue to do. Maybe not on the full basis of how I was doing it beforehand, but just here and there, because like, damn, this is, I really did enjoy this. I enjoyed taking my sweet ass time, and just like going through all the processes, working on blending and like figuring out certain areas, again, and what, I wanted. So thank you. I hope you guys stayed around for the whole thing again, and I hope that you pay attention, because there's just more to come, like, I don't know. Thank you. This is exactly what I needed for this weekend, and I'm so happy I took the time to do it. So I'll see you in the future. Till then.